One day, a filthy rich man called Jeff won the lottery and became the richest person ever to live.
He wanted to spend the millions that he had won on things like coffee machines, ping pong tables, and a goldfish.
But he was smarter than that.
Jeff thought, there are hungry people in the world. Maybe I could spend the money on them rather than myself.
Everyone having a good life is more important than me getting a load of useless junk. But how can I do it?
Jeff didn't know anything about hunger, so he lay down on his couch and was thinking about it. Jeff thought and thought, but he didn't know anything about world hunger. So he turned on the TV and... Breaking news! World hunger is a serious problem in the world. Here is a special report.
Today on Channel 11 News, we have breaking news. Parts of the world have no food because of war, food waste, non-sustainability, and floods. Oh no, this is bad. I have to do something about this, Jeff said.
Also, 1 in every 9 people is always hungry.
Because of this, these cause famines which usually happen in war-torn countries.
The UN is now collecting money to help these countries.
So that's the end of our special report on hunger. We leave you with the fact that $267 billion are needed per year to end hunger around the world.
Oh no, thought Jeff. I only have $266 billion. Oh wait, I just found $1 billion underneath the couch.
That morning, Jeff was out walking his dog with his wallet full of his fortunate earnings when he stumbled upon an old homeless man who just wanted a little of his money to buy breakfast.
Thinking get distracted about the issue of world hunger, Jeff refused.
Angered by the lack of care, the old man shouted an unlucky curse as Jeff was walking away.
He continued walking down the street when he suddenly got an anonymous email demanding a ransom to release his cousin who was being held hostage.
Without hesitation, Jeff immediately transferred $207 billion.
Distraught from the news of the kidnapping, he dragged his feet all the way home and was surprised to notice his front door swinging open.
Peering cautiously inside, he came across a note written on the wall. Thanks for visiting your little bro all these years in prison. I've taken a little of your money in return, $10 billion. Sincerely yours, Jordan. P.S. I got out of prison today.
Further destroyed by the tragic and unfortunate events of that day, Jeff fell into an uneasy sleep, traumatized and disappointed with his luck.
That night, things got catastrophically worse. The infamous thieving twins, Robert and Bobbert McGreedy, broke into his house and stole $40 billion.
Waking up the next day, Jeff discovered his living room covered in muddy footprints and glass scattered on the floor. Searching desperately for the rest of his money, sure enough, he found that a further chunk of his precious cash was gone.
Realizing that the rest of the world was trying to take his money, he decided to put as much as he could into what he thought was his safe. Unfortunately, he was not fully awake and saw too late that he had microwaved $5 billion.
Oh no, it's too smoky in here. I need to open a window, he exclaimed with anger and annoyance. Opening the window, Jeff's bad luck continued. $3 billion flew out on a gust of wind.
Jeff was tired, so tired. His dog was complaining for attention, so he got some old newspapers and threw them for her to play with.
To his horror, he saw his mistake too late. That wasn't newspapers. It was $1,999,999,999 of his money.
Through his sobbing, Jeff counted the remains of his winnings. He realized with a devastating blow that he only had one measly dollar left.
I feel like a total failure. I had nothing left in life, except for you, Izzy, my trusted canine companion,
he exclaimed as he choked back his tears.
Desperate for food, he struggled through the pouring rain and made his way towards town center.
Exhausted, terrified, Jeff slumped down against a cold, hard wall and pondered what would become of his life.
In the corner of his eye, he noticed a familiar figure sitting right next to him. It was the homeless man he had previously encountered and refused to give money to. Feeling sorry for the man, Jeff donated his final dollar to him. Immediately, the yellow shiny sun rose above the town. Oblivious to Jeff, the curse had been lifted.
Enthusiastically, Izzy bounded towards Jeff and barfed up perfectly iron, gleaming green bundles of money.
A wave of joy washed over Jeff. As he gathered the stacks of cash, he spotted the homeless man, smiling back proudly.
Feeling charitable, an idea sprouted in Jeff's heart. With a determined plan, he marched in the direction of an old abandoned farm.
He stood atop of a sturdy fence and visualized his proposal, saying, "This is the start of making the world a better place.
I'll buy this land with my fortune and create a sustainable farm for the local, deprived and hungry people."
After weeks of hard work, with the farm up and running, he finally sat down with a feeling of content and self-satisfaction.
He powered on the television and was abruptly reminded about the rest of the world in a news report.
From the TV, he heard, "World hunger is yet to be eliminated."
Then Jeff had an idea. He decided to chat with his friends around the world. He wanted to let his friends build farms and food banks since he had friends around the world. So Jeff created a chat FaceTime with his friends and told them to build farms and food banks, and they agreed. But the problem was they didn't have enough money. Then Jeff thought that since he had so much money and he wasn't selfish, Jeff then decided to give money to his friends to build farms and food banks in their continent.
Jeff's friend in South America is named Jasmine. She will grow fruits and vegetables on her farm. On her farm, she will grow carrots, corn, avocado, pineapples, papayas, and guavas for the hungry and poor people.
Meanwhile, in Africa, this is Jeff's friend. His name is Oliver. Oliver received a message from Jeff in the group chat. Jeff says we should donate food to the poor people. We get food from making farms. A few minutes later, he finds a field. Then Oliver spends money on wood, tools, and farming. When he was ready, he started building the farm.
Meanwhile, in Europe, Jeff called his friend Taylor to tell him that there is world hunger and he needs help from him to build a farm and food bank in their continent. He needs to build a farm with barley, peanut, maize oil, palm fruit, potato, rapeseed, canola, rice, rye, soybean, sugarcane, sunflower, wheat. Because those things are useful, like rapeseed can be made into canola oil and rye can be used for making flour, bread, beer, crisps, bread, and more.
Meanwhile, in Australia, "I'm gonna start building a farm and a food bank," said Allison. So Allison asked some of her friends in Australia to help her with building the farm and the food bank. After about one day of planning, Allison finally planned out how she will build the farm and the food bank. Her friends Rachel and Roland will help her build the farm, and her other friends will take care of the food problem.
Meanwhile, in Asia, Jeff's friend Carla was building the farm. She sent a photo to Jeff. It said, "Hi Jeff, I'm building a farm. It is going very well. We planted rice and sugarcane."
Jeff asked his friend Steve, who's from Canada, Jay, who's from Mexico, and Bill from the USA to help him give food to the people. Jeff sent in apples, potatoes, oat, wheat, barley, peaches, and strawberries to Steve so he can give the food to the people who need it. Then Jeff sent mangoes, beans, avocados, and oranges to Jay so he could give the food to the people who are suffering from world hunger. After Jeff's friends collected all the crops, they gave them out to people in need all over the world. We encourage you to take action and make a difference in the world. Pick something that is important to you in your area and make a difference and change it in your community.